Okay, Laure, Laure is how it's written on here, Laure,
Uh-huh.
Marsac, as the mortal woman on stage, an interview with the vampire. So if you remember an interview with the vampire, there's a scene where it's a group of vampires, but they're pretending to be humans, putting on a play, and the play is them as vampires. So it's vampires pretending to be humans, pretending to be vampires.
Yeah.
And in the
Very meta.
play, huh?
I said very meta. Yeah.
Very. And in the play, they're doing a human sacrifice, and of course, the whole audience thinks that it's part of the play,
Right.
and that the human sacrifice is an actress. In reality, it's a real human sacrifice, and they're watching this girl get basically eaten, and everybody's clapping like, "What a good job!"
Yeah, and
Thinking
she
she's
wasn't she pleading
acting.
like, "Oh my, this is real." Like what? And one woman in the audience even went to screamed out at Antonio Banderas, "Oh, let me be next. I adore you. You wait your turn." Like some shit,
Yeah,
like a weirdo. It's like that was brilliant.
yeah. No, it was brilliant. It really was. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. But the reason she's getting the Tits in Terror award is because during the process she was stripped completely naked. So when you think about it, not only is she getting eaten alive and yelling to the audience, help me!" And nobody helps her because they all think she's acting, and she's butt naked doing it in front of the whole audience.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it as a child, a very young child, and thinking, "Oh, she's naked! Like, oh my gosh!" You know. And she did a really good job making us the viewers at home believe that she was, really getting eaten,
Yeah.
and also the viewers on the stage or in front of the stage.
Very good job.
It's you remember that scene? Did
I
you?
do. I
Yeah.
love the Interview with the Vampire. It's one of my favorite movies.
I remember saying that scene thinking like well, of course as a kid I was like ooh naked nude. Now as an adult I'm like man how scared does she have to be? Not only is she being like she's being humiliated, she's being thrown out in like publicly thrown literally thrown out to the wolves and no one's helping her. She's scared to death. She's being totally exposed and assaulted in more ways than one in front of a live studio audience. It was a fucked up scene, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what. But why it qualifies for T in terror, tits in terror.
yeah.
But yeah, but we have, but thanks to Tyler brilliantly coming up with a new segment because we have to be an equal opportunity show. We can't just focus on the
Yeah.
tits. She said 2 weeks ago. Tyler was like, "Wouldn't it be cool if we did dicks in terror?" That's
It just makes sense that
it
it's
make it makes
symbolic.
sense. It was brilliant. And then I said, you know what? But the fucked up thing about it is because of how the norm or whatever you want to call it was. Obviously, there's going to be a plethora of examples for tits in terror, but there wouldn't be that many examples of dicks in terror, like men stripped down and being put in horror movies. But what I said, so let's on top of dicks in terror, let's also use the other definition of dicks of dudes as being a total asshole in a horror
Brilliant.
movie. I said, but so because there's plenty of those opportunities, and Tyler
Mhm.
came up with the perfect example for that one. So what's the next one for the debut of Dicks in Terror? What do we have?
We have Mel from Sleepaway Camp. Mel was such a freaking dick the whole movie. I hated him more than I hated the killer. I was like, Mel, just like go get a life somewhere. Like, stop messing with Ricky, okay? We loved Ricky, and Mel just knew that Ricky was the killer, and he was just a total dick to him. And you don't pick on Ricky because Ricky is that dude. So yeah, he's our first dicks in terror.
Yeah, that when I watched this movie for the first time after Tyler like being like you're not cool unless you watch Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, I was like Mel was that dude from like Jaws, that guy who the mayor who didn't want to close the beach down, even though everybody was getting murdered, everybody was
Oh
getting
yeah.
eaten. Like we can't.
Mm-hmm.
He was only focused on the money and losing money. He wasn't worried about the kids, being
Yeah.
murdered. It was yeah. So he was a total dick. And one thing I did love about Sleepaway Camp was the fact that scene, his kill scene, the arrow through the neck. I know I think there's a behind the scenes of how it happened. I don't want to see it. Usually movies that are that old, I'm like, you can see the strings, you can see how it was done. They did a very good job on that scene. That kill scene was awesome. So I'll give Mel that. He was a dick, but his death scene was flawless. One of the best I've seen in from that era. Because usually those movies are cheesy, but that kill scene, perfect. I don't know. I still can't figure out how they did it, and I don't want to know. It looked real. I want to imagine that Mel really died.
The best part was the whole movie. He thought the killer was Ricky, and then when he gets shot before he dies, he's like, "You like,"
and then bam, arrow in the neck. It was perfect. So yeah, I'm glad I watched it. It was great. I did record myself. I did a first time watching, but I don't like the way it filmed, so I'm not gonna debut it. So I don't know. That was it. That was our first episode of Tits In Terror. All right, there we go.